Imagine raising a toddler where the floor is stone, the kitchen is an open fire, the backyard contains predators, and the nearest childproof lock has not been invented. The child is fast, curious, and deeply committed to examining the one object every adult hoped they would ignore. Prehistoric childhood was risky, but the familiar picture of careless adults losing children constantly is misleading. Human children are expensive. They grow slowly, learn for years, and require enormous amounts of food, protection, and attention. That dependence helped make cooperation central to human survival. How did prehistoric families keep children alive? Not with one technique and not through mothers alone. Care involved feeding, warmth, carrying, supervision, teaching older siblings, relatives, and other trusted adults. Anthropologists call some of this alloparenting care provided by people beyond the biological mother. Archaeology cannot observe a babysitting schedule directly. Children's small bones preserve unevenly, and soft objects such as slings and bedding decay. Researchers combine juvenile remains, growth patterns, camp organization, and knowledge from recent hunter-gatherer communities to build cautious models of ancient care. The first challenge arrived immediately. Human babies are unusually helpless. They cannot cling and travel as independently as many primate infants. A caregiver carrying a baby has less freedom to gather, climb, or process food. Sharing those tasks transforms one exhausted adult into a functioning support network. Feeding was another system. Breast milk provided nutrition and immune protection, but nursing demanded energy from the mother. Food sharing supported her. As children grew, adults softened, mashed, or pre-chewed suitable foods. Weaning times varied. There was no single prehistoric calendar pinned to a cave wall. Warmth mattered because small bodies lose heat quickly. Dry bedding, protected sleeping positions, wraps, and shared body heat reduced exposure. Near a fire, adults also managed smoke, sparks, and burns. The warmest place in camp was helpful only if it did not become the most dangerous place. Carrying technology expanded movement. A hide sling, fiber carrier, or simple wrap could hold a baby against the body while keeping hands partly available. Direct prehistoric examples are rare, so designs remain uncertain. The underlying problem is obvious. Mobile groups needed babies to travel before babies could walk. Once children could walk, supervision changed rather than ended. Camp edges held sharp stone, hot coals, deep water, and stored food that animals also wanted. Adults could organize safer activity zones and keep dangerous work elsewhere. Camp layout was a form of prehistoric childproofing. Children were not passive packages. They watched faces, copied movements, and followed older children. Play rehearsed balance, throwing, carrying, digging, and social negotiation. A tiny stick was not merely a toy. It was sometimes a low-risk version of the tools adults used. Older siblings and juveniles could help. Cross-cultural research shows that children in many foraging societies spend time near mixed-age peers and contribute gradually to household work. Help varies widely, but a capable older child can watch, carry, fetch, and teach while learning responsibility. Grandparents and older adults added knowledge. They could recognize weather, edible plants, dangerous animals, and childhood symptoms. The popular grandmother hypothesis concerns deeper evolutionary questions, but at the camp level the logic is simple. One more experienced caregiver makes a dependent child less vulnerable. Food quality shaped growth. Children needed frequent energy and nutrients, yet prehistoric supplies fluctuated. Marrow, cooked foods, nuts, roots, and animal fat could provide dense calories where available. A child could not simply eat a scaled-down version of every tough adult meal. Cooking helped soften some foods and reduce pathogens. It also tied children to the hearth, where adults worked and socialized. This created teaching opportunities and hazards. The person stirring food was also monitoring sparks, smoke, grabbing hands, and the mysterious disappearance of one roasted item. Illness was especially dangerous. Children dehydrate and chill quickly. Adults who knew a child's normal energy, appetite, and voice could detect change before a skeleton would ever record it. Rest, warmth, water, feeding, and continuous attention gave the immune system a better chance. Evidence from particular Neanderthal children has reopened debates about social care. One Kova Negra child lived for years with a condition that researchers argue would have required extensive help. It is one case, not a universal rule, but it demonstrates that prolonged care was possible. Injury also carried lessons. Children fell, cut skin and tested limits, because this remains a feature of the species. Adults could reduce severe risk without eliminating exploration. A child who never approaches a stream never learns water. A child who approaches alone may learn too much at once. Teaching therefore used proximity. An adult demonstrated how to hold a tool. A child copied with a safer object. Correction happened before the sharp edge reached a foot. Skills were broken into manageable pieces, even if no one called the process an educational curriculum. Danger knowledge could travel through story. A tale about a predator, flood, or poisonous plant makes invisible risk memorable. We cannot recover the exact words, but long childhood and cooperative learning favor repeated narratives, imitation, and warning. Fear becomes useful when it points toward the right behavior. Children learn social maps too. Who shares food? Who can be approached when a parent is away? Which adult is patient, and which is currently holding a hot stone? A cooperative group offered several relationships instead of placing every need on one person. Play built those relationships. Chasing, hiding, rhythm, drawing, miniature tool use, and pretend roles could teach bodies and rules simultaneously. Direct evidence for specific games is limited. What survives, small objects, footprints, art, and learning debris, reminds us that children occupied archaeological sites as active people. Season changed the childcare plan. In cold weather, warmth and calories dominated. During travel, carrying and route safety mattered. In abundant seasons, children could explore wider areas. The same child moved between protected dependence and increasing responsibility as conditions allowed. Groups also planned spacing and workload, although we cannot reconstruct every decision. Human children remain dependent while younger siblings may arrive. Cooperative breeding allows overlapping care. Food sharing and alloparents help explain how humans supported multiple slow-growing children without one adult doing everything. This system was never perfect. Accidents, infection, hunger, and climate killed children. We should not romanticize the past or invent a single mortality figure for every population. The important fact is that high risk produced more care knowledge, not indifference. Grief would have been real. Careful child burials at some prehistoric sites show attention to young individuals after death, though meanings vary. A small body was not merely an unsuccessful statistic. It belonged to relationships, expectations, and memories inside the group. Picture an ordinary afternoon. A baby rests in a sling. Two children copy an adult sorting nuts. An elder redirects one child from the fire with the speed of long practice. Another adult returns with food and immediately becomes popular for reasons requiring no translation. Each action looks small. Together they form a safety net. Several eyes, several food sources, several teachers, and several warm bodies. Human childhood could remain long because children were surrounded by a social system capable of carrying the cost. That long childhood later became an advantage. It created time to learn landscapes, tools, language, relationships, and traditions too complex to inherit genetically. A child was vulnerable for years, but those years built an adult able to survive through knowledge rather than instinct alone. The strongest prehistoric childcare technology was therefore not a cradle or sling, useful as those were. It was distributed attention. When one caregiver gathered food, another watched. When one became ill, others absorbed work. No single person had to be awake, strong, and patient every minute. So how did prehistoric families keep children alive? They carried, fed, warmed, watched, taught, and shared them. Childhood remained dangerous, and many lives were lost. But every adult alive today descends from children who once survived because other humans kept looking in their direction.